Hello, good evening. You're watching News 360 from the News Hub at Adisa-Wekanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I'm Issa Morning. Thank you for joining us once again. And let's now go for the headlines for tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
Government's eagerly awaited flagship educational program, Free Senior High School, takes off.
Accra Metropolitan Assembly says it did not authorize demolition of the old Parliament building in Accra.
Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority at the Tema Port identifies weak communication and lack of feedback as major bottlenecks affecting their paperless transactions.
Coming up in business, Bank of Ghana warns banks not to capitalize revaluation, statutory and credit reserves and unaudited profits as it pegs stated capital for commercial banks at 400 million cedis.
And also later in international news, Hurricane Irma claims 4 lives and leaves 6 million homes in Florida without power.
We have details coming up shortly. Do stay with us. In our very first story, government's eagerly awaited flagship educational program, Free Senior High School, took off this morning as parents and their wards trooped to the various schools to register. Evelyn Tingma reports.
By 7 a.m., many parents were at the various schools their wards have been posted to. We are in the assembly hall of the Accra Girls Senior High School, and all the people you see here are first-year students, and they are here to do their registration. Already they have checked their names on the school's list, and their names are in the list, and so they are here to go through the process. And you can see the table here. When your name is mentioned, both parents and then students go through the process. The headmistress, Joyce Akolache, said the school was ready to admit all students on their list.
Once they come, they collect their prospectus, they are reporting. I mean, it's very, very early in the day. Latest by 5, all of them will come. When it comes to funding, we are yet to check on that because we just came back from CHAR's meeting and we are doing through the admission process.
Hours after going through the admission process, parents were giving the prospectus. I have with me here the prospectus for Accra Girls Senior High, and some of the items are nightgowns and house coats, medium-sized trunk or suitcase, Ghana Must Go medium bag, pullover, grey, handkerchiefs, raincoat, pair of small earrings, and plates, drinking cups. Students were to collect their uniforms at the school, but buy the rest of the items on the prospectus. At the St. Thomas Aquinas Senior High School at Cantonment, 420 students had reported for admissions as at 10:30 a.m. The headmaster, Cyril Kwejo-Dade, said though there was vacancy for 520 students, the Ghana Education Service posted 606 students to the school and wondered the fate of the additional 96 students. He, however, said the school is ready for the free SHS takeoff.
Classes will start on Wednesday at 8 a.m. prompt. Funds is not a priority for admission. We have been told the funds are already in our various accounts in the bank. Being a day school, my first-year students are entitled to 1 hot meal a day. And we are ready to do that. The caterers have come here to introduce themselves.
At Labone Senior High School, scores of parents and their wards gathered at the assembly hall to go through the admission process.
They told me that I have to come on the 16th of September 2017 for admission.
Meanwhile, some parents who still have challenges with placements of their wards have been trickling to the school's selection and placement secretariat in Accra.
I came to see whether a ward of mine who had placement last year but could not go to school could be replaced this year. But unfortunately, when I came here, I was told I have to go to the ministries.
The self-placement continues till September 30. Evelyn Tingma, TV3 News, Accra.
And now heads of some schools in Accra confirmed having received funds for the program. Our reporter Daniel Opoku was at the Accra Girls Senior High and Kimbu Senior High Technical Schools.
Senior High School, who declined to speak on camera, confirmed having received the funds. The school is expecting 444 freshers. At the Kimbu Senior High Technical School, some staff who also declined to speak on camera also confirmed having received their funds. Authorities at both schools were hopeful other financial documents would be concluded for the monies to hit their accounts. So far, government has earmarked 486 million cedis to roll out the free SHS policy. Out of the figure, 250 million cedis, representing more than 50%, has been released. Public Relations Officer at the Ministry of Education, Otto Plaha, was emphatic the next tranche would be released soon.
As soon as the returns have come to us, now people are now enrolling, and they will have to give us a feedback on the total number of students who have enrolled so far. The amount is based on the students they have. So as and when those returns are received, we will send the remaining one to them.
He noted the ministry is addressing concerns on other institutions which are yet to receive their funds.
Oh, definitely, whatever steps necessary to take, the ministry will take that step. So once there are no complaints, it's also good. We assume they've received everything and there is no complaints wherever. When the complaints come, the ministry will be in a position to resolve those complaints depending on what they are.
647 senior high schools nationwide are expected to be part of the program.
And the news team was also at some transport terminals to check on students who had to travel to their various schools across regions.
Chop boxes, trunks and jute bags, popularly referred to as Ghana Must Go, an indication that senior high schools have reopened. Some major transport terminals in the capital revealed a more relaxing atmosphere. At the OA terminal, Isaiah Badazabra couldn't hide his excitement about his admission to Bolga SHS.
I am going to Bolga Tanga Senior High, big boss. I'm excited. I'm just excited.
The atmosphere was similar at the VIP bus terminal at Circle, but different at the Kaneshi Metro Mass Terminal.
How long have you been in this queue?
For about an hour.
For about an hour. Has it been moving for you in any way?
Yeah, it has been moving.
Is this the first time you're using this station?
No, I've been using it for a long time.
Do you always face, do you have to be in the queue like this?
First time. This is the first time I'm facing this problem. We open on Saturday, but I'm going on Monday, so I think that's the problem. Because most schools are reopening today.
I've been here for almost an hour now, and I'm still waiting for the car to get full, so I get my turn to go to school.
With the computer placement and senior high school registration exercise having been extended to the end of the month, it is likely fresh students will keep trickling out as the new school year begins.
Meanwhile, the Education Ministry says it has put in place measures to ensure challenges in this year's selection process are speedily resolved. Scores of senior high school applicants and their parents continue to besiege the Free Education Secretariat at the Ministry of Education in demand of placement into public senior high schools.
The Free SHS Secretariat, Monday morning, parents and their wards had come to demand answers from officials. Although a special desk had been set up to address challenges such as wrong placement and non-placement, it appears it was not yielding any results. Frustrated and desperate parents who could not secure placement for their wards last year were also at the Secretariat.
Our problem is the last year students, you see. So he is telling us that they are solving this year problem for them. And the government said he is going to educate last year and this year. So the man should be able to find a way to help us. I am going crazy. I am going crazy about this issue.
But officials at the ministry said such candidates may have to wait till next year as the deadline had expired. Officials had a tough time as they tried to resolve the challenges. Some parents and wards could not hide their frustrations with the computerized school selection process.
She has gotten placement, but where they place him is very far. They place him here at Ekunfi, at a senior high school, which is very far, and it's a day school. And our wards too are being in the house crying over, because they can't live here to Ekunfi, which is a day school. And we can't rent a room for them. She's a girl, 16 years. If you rent a place for her, just look at it. If somebody goes to repair, what are you going to talk about it? So we are just pleading.
I got a grade 7. I'm from the Volta region, and I've been given a school at Accra here, Kaneshi Senior High, which has no boarding or hostel. So my parents can't afford it. That's why we are here, so that the various authorities could help change it for us.
The issue is people have been wrongly placed. Let's look at those issues, deal with them. Then when the numbers are down, those of you who have other issues, we can look at them. Then we make progress. Some has been sent to deaf and dumb schools. You know it's not the right thing to do. Some were genuine errors, so they are being corrected.
Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education, Otto Plaha, whilst admitting assessing postings online has been challenging, gave the assurance measures were being fashioned out to absorb candidates who are yet to be placed.
Away from education to this development story, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly says it did not authorize the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to demolish the old Parliament House in Accra. The main chamber of Ghana's first Parliament House, located opposite the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum in Accra, has been pulled down.
Without prior notice, many woke up to the news of the demolition of the structure which housed the old Gold Coast Legislative Assembly from 1951, when Dr. Kwame Nkrumah became the leader of the government's business under the British colonial rule. On a visit Monday morning, the main entrance of the facility gave no hint of such an exercise being carried out. However, behind the facility was where the action, which started yesterday, was being carried out by construction firm Seamen Ghana Limited. The Member of Parliament for Adakulu Kwame Agbuja is one of the many Ghanaians who had visited the place earlier to verify the credibility of the news. He was disappointed Ghana could sacrifice what could have been one of its historical landmarks.
I'm surprised that some people can make a decision to knock down this thing and put up a new building for Shraj. So what does that mean to the trajectory of how our parliamentary democracy evolved? This country is fixated on new, never having an attempt to preserve the old.
Earlier on TV3's morning show, No Day, an archaeologist at the Department of Archaeology and Heritage Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Kojo Gavois, condemned the demolition of the house, saying it is part of the history of the country.
There's something in conservation called anastylosis. The building is maintained as such, but the interior designs could be modified so that it will serve as a monument that would be a reference for future generations. They will come to know where we began from. If we destroyed all that we have attained in the past, what will be the reference point? We'll start pointing at other nations as our source of reference. Can't we point to what our forebears have achieved? That is the question. We have destroyed most buildings in Accra without any documentation.
The Accra Metropolitan Assembly is reported to have declared the demolition exercise to pave way for the construction of a new one at a cost of 15 million cedis illegal.
Agencies should also know better and act in accordance of the law. That if you want to pull down that building, you need permit from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly before you do that. And they have not gotten the permit yet before they acted on that. That is what I know of. I think one of their disputing heads wrote to us, and we wrote back to them. It was a very long letter to them, telling them the reasons why we could not approve of their permits that they requested for, and that they were supposed to consult, get approval from government or so, and tell us the reasons why they want to pull that building.
Officials on site were unwilling to provide any information on the exercise. In the building were officers of the Citizens Vetting Committee, the Judgment Debt Commission, Shraj, and that of the Economic and Organized Crime. Part of it caught fire in December 2013, making it unsafe for occupancy.
I wonder how we'll be able to restore this important piece of history. Now to other stories. And the Dakuman Cable and Wireless branch of the National Artisans and Traders Union of Ghana has petitioned the president over an intended demolition of structures on the site by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Now the artisans want government to provide them a suitable location before the exercise.
The Dakuman Cable and Wireless branch of the National Artisans and Traders Union of Ghana comprises 4,000 master craftsmen and over 14,000 apprentices engaged in a myriad of skilled works, including vehicle repairs and sale of vehicle parts. Aside auto waste are persons engaged in other trades, including food vending, for over 25 years. The union says its attention has been drawn through a newspaper publication to an intended demolition of their structures. This the union finds unfortunate.
Since the publication was just recently, we are preparing a protest march to tell the president and the nation about our plight.
They wondered why the AMA could be so inhumane and called for an intervention from the presidency.
If this place would not be suitable for us, then we are pleading to His Excellency, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to relocate us, and we will be ready to leave this place.
They want the president to impress on the AMA to provide them a suitable location.
For us to have our peace of mind to work. We are obedient citizens of this nation. So we are pleading to him to do that for us.
The leadership contended having been law-abiding by paying levies, meeting other tax obligations.
You're watching News 360 from the News Hub, and still to come. Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority at the Tema Port identifies weak communication and lack of feedback as major bottlenecks affecting the paperless transaction.
And also, Bank of Ghana warns banks not to capitalize revaluation, statutory and credit reserves and unaudited profits, as it pegs stated capital for commercial banks at 400 million cedis.
We have details coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
You're still watching News 360. Good evening to you. Thanks for staying with us. Time for business. My name is Nanikia Mensah-Prampa. And finally, it has been confirmed that the Bank of Ghana has increased the minimum stated capital requirement for commercial banks to 400 million cedis. Now, the new figure is an increase of 233% over the old capital level of 120 million cedis, and it takes effect today, September 11.
The Bank of Ghana requires existing banks to meet the minimum capital through fresh capital injection, capitalization of income surplus, or a combination of both. It, however, forbids affected banks from capitalizing their revaluation reserves, reserves on financial instruments through other comprehensive income, statutory reserves, credit risk reserves, and unaudited profit. Banking consultant Nana Oto Echampong is of the view the new figure is appropriate.
It's a huge jump from 60 million to 400 million. However, if you also set that against the size of Ghana's economy between 2002 and 2017, you see that there's been a huge jump. So the regulator, having regard to the economy, the size of the economy between that period, having regard to the risk characteristics of the sector, having regard to the regulatory regime, i.e. Basel II and III, there was no choice than to come up with such a figure.
Dr. Richmond Echiahene said the move by the central bank is positive as banks' capital have depreciated over the years through inflation.
From the micro instability point of view, it is also good, because the capitals have depreciated over the years. Today we're talking about 4.4 to $1. So in the real term, the capital of the banks have actually been devalued. We need to strengthen the capital status of various banks in Ghana, because if you look at their deposit ratio, the deposit against capital ratio in real terms is very negligible.
All existing banks have up to December 31st, 2018 to meet the new minimum paid-up capital requirement.
And the big question is GCB taking over NIB Bank? Well, GCB Bank has denied documents circulating on social media indicating that it will soon take over operations of the National Investment Bank, NIB. Now, the document, which is sourcing the graphic business, says GCB has begun overtures to take over the state-owned bank in what could create the biggest bank in the country in assets terms.
According to the report, the discussions on the takeover later this year began at the board level. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, indicated the most recent meeting on the takeover was on August 15, but a board member of GCB Bank, Nanotu Champong, has denied the story.
To the best of my knowledge, there isn't any takeover talks other than the two banks that they purchased and assumed management of. It's the governor or the regulator who will be able to tell whether they are distressed or not. But as we speak, they are not in any way distressed, at least from the regulator's point of view.
In a telephone interview, Head of Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfo, also denied any such discussions.
Well, I don't know what they are discussing. I mean, as a regulator, nothing has come to our notice. Nobody has seen anything to us.
So you are not aware of any takeover from for GCB taking over NIB?
No.
You haven't received any indication at all whatsoever that NIB is in distress?
No. NIB is not in distress. I've also read it from graphic business, so I'm waiting tomorrow. I'll call them to find out their source.
Sources close to the two banks, however, tell TV3 that takeover could be in 2 weeks. Reports indicate a successful consummation of the deal could potentially create an enlarged GCB bank with an asset size in excess of 10 billion cedis. With a population of about 27 million people, an annual GDP of close to $40 billion US, Ghana's economy is understandably too small for the current 33 banks.
Well, we wait to see what happens. Now, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has identified weak communication and lack of feedback as major bottlenecks affecting the paperless transactions at the ports. The full implementation of the innovation is yet to take off as the old system is being used alongside.
Customs says about 1,104 entries have passed through the new paperless system. From September 1 to September 11, the Tema and Takoradi ports have recorded 104 entries. On September 8, the Tema port booked 437 customs entries, while the Takoradi port had 30, summing up to 467. On September 9, 39 entries were also recorded for the Tema port, with 0 for Takoradi port. On September 11th, 280 customs entries were declared at the Tema port, with 12 at the Takoradi port. Deputy Commissioner in charge of policy and programs, Yao Chair Richard Patrick, said post-evaluation on the paperless transactions has revealed the process needs to be streamlined.
Now, confidence is building up and volumes are increasing. For example, between the first and today, we've done about 1,041 declarations, transactions for both Takoradi and Tema. These have been paid and were at compliance as at this morning when we spoke, around 9 o'clock. But quite a lot has been worked on, but we are beginning to see that volumes are increasing.
He confirmed the backlog had been cleared. However, officials are still using the old system alongside the new one. Although rent charges have been waived for some affected importers, others whose goods were at the private terminal still have issues.
And MTN Ghana has launched the 7th edition of its annual month-long Internet Festival. iFest is dedicated to creating awareness on the Power Mobile broadband data has in improving the lives of MTN subscribers.
The advent of the Internet has created a hunger for fast and reliable connectivity. Many lives have become more and more intertwined with the virtual and digital world. From the era of sending and receiving emails to conducting several other activities on mobile devices. In spite of this obvious growth, there are many who are still left in the dark, many who lose out on the plethora of opportunities associated with fast and reliable internet access. This is what MTN's iFest seeks to address.
That is where the world is getting to. It's not going to know any stop. And for us, as leaders in the industry, the onus rests on us to take the Ghanaian consumer to that level where we ought to bridge and make sure that we close the technology gap that is growing around the world. Support our customers beyond educating them to understand the essence of the digital evolution that is happening and also be part of it.
The month-long fair seeks to introduce existing and potential MTN subscribers to the benefits of high-speed internet.
On offer is just humongous data offers. We're giving as much as 400% data bonuses to our customers on every data purchase that you do above 10 Ghana cedis. So it is going to happen in the whole month of September, and that is what our customers should expect.
Anytime you want to log on to your web portal, anytime you want to log on to browse on your internet, the best, fast and reliable network is the MTN 4G.
They provide us internet service, MTN Business, and it's fantastic. It works, the service is on point, and the guys are always ready to support if there's a problem.
iFest 2017 hosts a variety of fun-packed activities, from video contests to social media gaming competitions, with amazing prizes up for grabs.
Whilst there's more news on our website, it's 3news.com. That will do for the business segment tonight. I'm Nanekia Mensah-Brampa. Let's go back to Isa and Portia with more.
Right. Let's continue with some more news. And a new 130 capacity electronic library has been commissioned for the Kufuor Technical University. The facility is to help students and lecturers access the school's database and journals.
With a population of about 7,000 students, the Kufuor Technical University lacks a well-resourced library to meet the needs of students. Vice-Chancellor of the Kufuor Technical University, Professor Smile GC, said as a technical university, it had the mandate to ensure graduates acquire critical skills. She says the school's 7-year strategic development plan is therefore to bridge the research and knowledge infrastructure gap.
We have over 90,000 e-journal and e-books in the system now. And the good thing is they don't need to come here. The facility is for those who don't have the resources, but they don't have the computers to use. But in their homes, in their offices, wherever place they are, in the laboratories, they can conveniently connect into this system to be able to access any other e-resources that they need.
She added, the e-library supported by MTN Foundation would save time, cost, and promote quality education. Head of the library, Owusu Achiao, explained the facility would enable them access the online catalogs and enjoy the convenience of making library requests through mails.
With the e-library, it is quite easier. Students can use to support their academic work, especially their project work. It is mandated of every staff to publish, and therefore staff will have to access this to enable them to do their contribution and publish their work.
MTN's head of sustainability and social impact, Georgina Sari Fiabinu, indicated the company's vision is to improve on digital libraries in schools. She added the 130 capacity e-library
was 70% funded by MTN Foundation at a cost of 240,000 cedis.
What we want to do is to be able to provide access to technology, access to computers, access to the internet, to enrich and brighten the lives of students. We provided 90 computers together with its accessories. The school already had the basic infrastructure and we added the computers to it.
We have sports news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
Good evening, sports news time. Let me quickly run you through some of the updates ongoing in Cape Coast at the moment in the West Africa Football Union Championship. Nigeria drawing goalless against Sierra Leone now. If it stays that way, then the two sides will be headed for penalties to determine the winner of that one. They will then go through to the next stage to join 7 other teams. One of those teams, Mali, earlier today, securing victory, courtesy a brace by Kone. So Mali through to the next stage. They will join the likes of Ghana and a few other sides who are through ahead of the draw that will determine the placement of the 8 teams in 2 groups of 4 each. So Nigeria 0, Sierra Leone 0 at the minute. That game passed the 75th minute mark. If it stays that way, penalties will be used to determine the outcome. Elsewhere, from live action ongoing at the moment, is West Ham who are drawing goalless with Huddersfield Town in the English Premier League. Ghana International Andre Dedeayu on the bench for that particular. We'll give you updates as and when we get them and in our subsequent bulletins. Let's get on to another story then. And the Black Stars of Ghana are getting ready for their departure to Dubai, where they will be putting in place final touches ahead of the 2017 Under-17 FIFA World Cup. Ghana is returning to the World Championship after a 10-year absence, and coach Pakwesi Fabian says that he's seen enough to be convinced the Black Stars will be worthy ambassadors for Ghana football.
It has been quite good, and so far so good. We are leaving Accra tomorrow to Abu Dhabi. We train for the first week, and then the second week we play 1 or 2 matches with Iraq, New Zealand. Then after that we go back to training and then prepare finally to leave Abu Dhabi on the 1st to New Delhi, where we'll be based. And then we'll go and then prepare for the first match on the 6th against Colombia. So the boys, they are very ready, all things being equal. I think we'll be able to do very well in this tournament. Yeah, I've got a very good squad. I believe I've got a very good squad with the inclusion of some boys from Right to Dream and Wafa. I think we've got a very good squad now. We want to make a very good impact, probably to win the trophy, the ultimate.
Now, that way, they will need penalties to separate them. That's all the sports for now.
Hello again. Tonight in this segment, Ghanaian actress Blanche Warai of Adults Only fame wants Ghanaian ladies not to wear panties. The actress, who claims she last wore a panty 7 years ago, argues ladies will be less at risk of catching yeast infections if they go pantyless. Also, Warai has the details.
Blanche Warai, a Ghanaian actress, has played daring roles, particularly in movies produced and directed by Socrates Safo, including Adult Only and What Sex Can Do. The CEO of Blanche Foundation is embarking on a campaign dubbed Operation Remove Your Panties, which seeks to encourage ladies 18 and above not to wear panties.
I stopped wearing panties, I think, somewhere after high school. So give and take like 7 years or more.
The actress' motivation is to reduce yeast infections, which easily spread in moist environment.
The panties itself we wear, looking at our weather condition, you find some ladies wearing panties, wearing trousers, and the place needs to breathe. Because the materials there, naturally God has made it in a way that it discharges by itself. It's already warm. So when you add extra heat, I mean, you are going beyond board.
There are thoughts that the campaign might expose ladies the more to sexual harassment.
Those people walking around there, they are bad guys. They can just send into a can and rape you.
You just have to know how to carry yourself as a lady. Yeah. Not being pantless or not being pantless will not prevent you from being raped. And also, the most annoying part of the whole thing is that the panties will be glaring. They wear the ones that will be glaring in their clothes, especially their body-hugging clothes, and the panties will be drawn. That alone attracts men because men are moved by what they see. Now, when you're going and there's no traces of a jean string or no pants, it's less. You know, men like to imagine. Why don't you just release yourself of that stress?
Many believe Blanche's campaign is rather sensitive and could stir controversy. The likelihood of Blanche coming under severe backlash from critics cannot be ignored, but Baby Blanche appears unwavering.
Ghanaian actress Blanche Orai, aka Baby Blanche, wants Ghanaian ladies not to be putting on panties. She's saying that it feels more comfortable and confident if you don't wear panties and you go about your activities. She argues her point out, stating that if you don't wear panties, you're not likely to catch infections. We've been out on the street, we want to find out what have the young ladies to say about this.
Well, I can't imagine myself wearing a gown. I'm not wearing panties. It's kind of awkward. Like, I will get more infection wearing a gown without panties because all the dust and everything will enter my stuff and all that. So I don't see it's reasonable to me.
Even for instance, maybe you're putting on something short or so, and you can't imagine, most of the time we ladies, we like something short. And maybe in a party, we are sitting down and I can't just feel comfortable putting it on.
Wow, with me, I discourage it because if I don't wear panties before going out, I don't feel comfortable. And to catch any infection depends on how you treat yourself.
And would the men be okay with their siblings and wifeys going pantless?
No, I won't be okay. I won't. Because normally when girls don't wear panties, you see their backside, you know, shaking rough in their dresses, especially when they wear that skinny thing. Even that. So if she's not wearing panties, I'm not going to allow that at all. I'm not okay with that. I don't really mind. No. So it's a pint.
Some parents shot Blanche's argument down, describing her campaign as endorsing indecent dressing.
No, it's not good. Because if you are not wearing panties, sometimes hair will get into your vagina. Then you start flatulating.
Some people are actually for it. Others are saying it's something you're never going to do. But what do you also think about this?
The debate is most likely not going to end now. But really, do ladies risk catching infections by wearing panties?
It's not like men that when you are able to shake yourself, I mean, it stops. But when a lady urinates, there are always drops. The essence of the panty is that it can help absorb this sweat. Imagine this sweat just falling on the woman. It can actually bring a bad smell or odor around even the thighs of the woman.
Interesting analysis over there. Is that to go with or without panties? Well, ladies, get interactive with us. Facebook, twitter.com/news on TV3. Isa, would you be comfortable going on air without briefs?
Maybe as a man, you have to be careful what you watch nowadays. Right, I'm sure there'll be more updates on the new capital level for commercial banks in Ghana, as well as the free senior high school, which takes off effectively today. And then also some more weather updates, and of course something on sports for you as the Champions League kicks into action tomorrow.
Well, that's it for News 360. Thanks so much for your company. I am Portia Gabo.
My name is Saboni. Have a wonderful evening.
Coming up is Tashan.